Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today is actually my birthday. I know I have mentioned it several times prior, and sometimes you just start celebrating even when it's Leo season. When it's your month and that time comes around, you're like, all right, time to celebrate. So started off with a bang with Cancun. Today's my actual birthday. I woke up to flowers and my gifts wrapped, and we're going out to dinner. And then Friday, we're going to do something else, which I have no idea what that will be. But I am thankful. I am humbled. I am so appreciative of all my new subscribers, all the views. It really means the world to me that somebody is clicking and watching and getting something somehow. But I wanted to talk about the word conventional. I heard that word and I was like, wow, it struck a chord in me because I pride myself on being unique. I pride myself on beating to my own drum. I pride myself on being so determined to create, the best reality that I can, regardless of the climate, regardless of politics, regardless of, the state of the world and what should not be my reality in a lot of ways, or what is the reality of some other people, sad to say, but also that show me that with determination, you can decide how this thing is going to go down. And it really made me think about beauty and standards. And so just to be clear, conventional is based on or in accordance with what is generally done or believed. Conventional, or this is like a similar definition, of a person concerned with what is generally held to be acceptable at the expense of individuality and sincerity. The last one, I see what you, okay, so the second one I read is referring to a person, and then this refers to maybe your work, an art form, literature, music, whatever. It describes it as following traditional forms and genres. And who wants to do that? How is that interesting? I've talked about the laws before. They're unspoken, they're subtle, they are, never ever in one collective place spelled all out and clear in a lot of ways. But yet, once you tap into these certain laws, depending on what we're talking about, so there's the laws of love, there's the laws of, personality, there's the laws of energy, there's the laws of nature, there are laws of spirituality, there are laws of that govern men, the laws that govern women, the laws of the universe. Once you decode those things, discover those things, and live by those things, it unlocks another experience. So when I first started discovering these laws as it pertained to my experience as a woman, my femininity, my identity, my race, my culture, my background, my roots, being a mother, being a soul, that really opened my eyes, but it took a long time. And even the word says, which with much wisdom comes much sorrow. So half of you begins to wonder, how come I couldn't have known this earlier? Why does it have to be this way? Blah, blah, blah. How come this and the other? But that can waste time. That can waste energy. Doesn't always feel good because you may not get the answers. But what you can do is determine that tomorrow, if you are so blessed, and that should be, okay, I will aim for tomorrow, whether it comes or not. that is my hope, then I can begin to do what I can with what I got. And that was my journey in every way. And I have come to be confident in my unconventional identity. Still following some basic rules that it's like my life has lent itself to be what I needed to be. And I can't explain it because it wasn't always a clear path. It wasn't always like, how exactly is this going to work out? You know? But I trusted. I had hope. I had faith. I believed in the magic of these things just coming to me like a magnet. And that is my hope for many people out there who are trying to still find their way through these uncertain times, and with mandates and these things that are changing, and inflation and all these things that can seem to bog us down, but they don't have to. They don't have to. Someone could look at me, look at this channel, look at the things that I say and say, there's no way that you could possibly be successful in your own right. Or consider what I consider success, nothing close to success. No, I don't fly to islands every day and have millions of dollars at my disposal. But I feel like I do. No, and I have people screaming my name and paparazzi and, designer this, that, and the other, and can drink champagne and, experience the finest of what is considered worldly luxuries. But what I do have, I enjoy just as much. My homemade cup of coffee, my wine in the afternoons, when we grill and make lamb and vegetable kebabs with shrimp. I feel like $1 million. When the girls and I take selfies, when we go somewhere and we're having a great time and someone says, oh, let me take your picture for you. You all look so nice. And the kindness of just offering, because, we all can't get in the picture at the same time. We're trying to do the angling and someone says, oh, let me take your picture for you. I feel like $1 million. I feel like I'm not thinking about anybody else. My life is so what I want it to be. My life is exactly how I want it to be. I feel full. I feel complete. I feel settled. I don't have a worry. I don't have a care. And I'm not saying that to brag on myself. I'm not saying that to make anyone else feel bad. I'm trying to say that this is attainable. If I could share it with you, like literally give it to you, mail it to you, airdrop it to you, you come pick it up, we can meet somewhere, I would do that if I could. But the trick is you have to make it for yourself. So it's like making a cake. We all know the ingredients. And we all know that if you eat each ingredient on its own, it's not going to taste like a cake. And some of the ingredients are going to be quite nasty or inedible alone anyway. You can't eat the raw eggs. You can't eat the baking powder. You can't eat the baking soda. The salt, okay? But when you take your time, measure it out, get it right, mix it together the right way, in the right order. Not too much. Some things you can't overstir. Some things the instructions say knead it, whatever, or leave the lumps, whatever. Y'all know. If y'all be baking, y'all know. You follow the instructions to the T. You don't shortcut. You don't skip steps. You don't think that it's just going to magically happen. You don't sit there and look at the ingredients and say, make a cake. Do it. Come on. I need you to, So you take the time, you put it all together, then you put it in the oven, then you wait. You wait. You might check, but and you hope that you did it right. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be delicious when it comes out. The intention behind pulling it all together. This whole Big Bang stuff, and just randomly evolving, it cannot. How? I'm not saying things can't evolve once they're here after they've had the blueprint, but show me how any random thing can just make any random thing, and then but then that thing, as random as it came and came to being, now it is perfect, symmetrical, a perfect design, works like a charm, no glitches, no nothing, no tweaks, no nothing. It's just everything it needs to be. That's where we lose the whole, that's where I draw the line with that nonsense. And so it is in your life. I truly believe that. And what was that story where some scientists tried to challenge a creator? And, he said in the story, okay, you can try to make what I have created, but you got to start from scratch. You got to get your own materials. You know what I mean? You can't use my dirt. You can't use my air. You can't use my elements. You can't. I'll wait and I'll watch. So we've been given these things as resources, tools, a starting point. And it's up to us to take it and make it the most elaborate, as elaborate as you want to get. You got some people that just, give me a pound cake. The pound cake is good enough for me. Then you got people that take it to a whole nother level and they create art. And the tears just go on up and the stuff cascades down and the stuff doesn't even look real. These cakes are just so amazing. They take time, they take material, and when you put that price tag on it, it ain't for everybody. And for the people that can afford the quality and the craftsmanship and the art behind this thing, the cake, we're going to use that as an example. Some people do not flinch to have a piece of that experience, and they will pay any amount of money that you have set for it to be its worth to experience what you have created. Come on now. So how can it be that you can't see your own life as an example of that? I had said in another video, you have all these things at your disposal that are free, mind you. Free. You don't need a president's stamp of approval. You don't need to have money to have these things. You don't have to travel the world and go on these voyages and collect these things to bring them back to start working your magic and creating things. These things are right there. And it starts with a decision. It starts with your mind. Okay? Then you take the time. You allow yourself the time, the patience, the gentle, loving action of putting it all together. And knowing and trusting that when you get ready to take this thing out, or when this thing comes to you, out the oven of life, you're going to then ice it, dress it up, make it beautiful. And then you're going to set it up. We put it on the cake plate, right? It's like this presentation, this moment where you cut into it, or you take that bite of that cupcake, or that brownie, or that pastry, or whatever it is, and you're just like, Then you want to describe and revel in that moment. It's gooey, it's hot, it's delicious, it's sweet, it's molten, it's this. And you can share it with others, and everyone can experience that. You can't tell me you can't see how you have that same ability in your life. Will it take some months? Will it take some years? Will it take some patience? Will it take some pulling some things together, mixing it up? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you can create whatever you want to create. You can do it. And for some people, they never try, or they never go beyond just making something that's just so plain, so boring, so just like, that's all you want? That's it? The same basis of ingredients can make anything. You can add a little to it. You got a plain pound cake, plain sugar cookie, and your neighbor over here, they just sprinkles, chocolate, nuts, and whatever, and they're really working it. Then they go back and make something else, add something to it. You gotta have some. You know what I mean? But it's up to you. No one's gonna come along. There's no Bobby Flay coming into your life. Who's another cook, chef? Tabitha Brown with her little vegan twist stuff. Come on, y'all. Think of some chefs, somebody coming along. Ain't nobody, everybody's busy in their own kitchen doing their own things. You know? Take your power. Decide and know that you can do it. It's yours. Find out where you need to start and start where you're at with what you got. Because they're not going to look like mine. Last example I'm going to make. I talk about how, and I know in a lot of my videos, my story jumps around because I just went through so much. It's so much. I would spend over 30 minutes telling from start to finish all this little stupid stuff I had to go through. But before my children were school age, I did everything I could to be the mother that I wanted to be at the expense of my peace and my health and my mental. So I was working nights, a lot of commuting, a lot of driving. And I would be so tired, I would stop and sleep at little truck stops. Have to get up, come back, start all over. Then when I knew I couldn't do that much longer, I was burning myself out with that. I worked at a daycare so that I could be with the baby as Autumn went to kindergarten and first grade. It was first grade. Yeah, it wasn't quite kindergarten. It was first grade. Just so I could lay eyes on her. So y'all, I'm trying to take mamas. I know what it's like to not have it all figured out and just literally just grasping at straws, trying to piece together the funds, the balance, and whatever else you need, and sometimes not even be able to do that. You know, my day started at 5, 6 in the morning and didn't end until 8 at night. By the time I fought that traffic on my lunch break, all I could do was have enough time was to nibble on something as I was going to pick up my oldest from school, fight that traffic, and get back to the daycare so that I could let those kids go home. During nap time, it was a lot. It was actually after nap time. Yes, my bad. So, yeah, so after, they get up from naps and have their snack, that's when I would take my hour break, and it would literally take up all of my time. And you know how eating and driving can be. It's a little dangerous. And I would pick her up and barely get back in time to clock back in and then start dismissal. And for the ones that needed aftercare that evening, oh my goodness, it was just such a long day. Such a long day. All those kids, and still not make enough because I was still paying that center for Autumn's, halfway, after school care because she was there. She counted as a body. And then my youngest being there. So I know what it's like to sometimes not even be, you have a plan and the plan is still like, oh my God, I'm just trying to make it. But I didn't give up. I wasn't hard on myself. I didn't say this is all for naught. And I didn't quit. And I held on to the feeling. And when I would close my eyes, I would see myself waking up in a bed, in a room that was mine with all my stuff that I loved. And I could take my time in my space. That was the first thing that I really, really cherished. Being in my own space and being able to take my damn time. And over a year later, that was my reality. But had I let the time frame of that, waiting for that, and all the things to fall into place for that, because I was throwing stuff in the oven at this point. I'm just like, Come on, it's some things, and I'm not good at baking. You know what I mean? I'm messing all of these recipes up. Let me clarify here. All that stuff was stuff that I'm like, okay, maybe a half teaspoon of this and a cup of that. No, you know what I mean? I wasn't really following the instructions to the T. I'm rushing. I'm panicked. I'm like, come on, something's gotta, But finally, I was able to get the right recipe, slow down and get it right and do it right. Take my time, focus, put it in the oven. And finally, when I got it out, it was something that was I could work with it. My children could actually eat the damn thing. So do not give up. And know that even if you're still mixing up all these different things and you've got all these different recipes, look, someone may give you a recipe and it might have worked for them and it don't work for you. You need gluten-free. Come on, I'm trying to get these examples. I'm gonna go there. You can't do gluten, but the gluten don't bother them. That's another thing. Be mindful of, pull inspiration, be inspired. Be happy for everybody else that when their stuff finally come out the oven, okay, they're good, they're great. But what worked for me may not work for you. And you need to try a different recipe, and that's okay. It's going to take you time to find that right one. You know what I mean? You might need sugar-free. You might need low sodium. Can't have all, you know what I mean? You can't do all them dyes and the icing and the sprinkles. You gotta tweak it, and you cannot give up doing this stuff and trying and going at it. Cause something's gonna give. And what is the last expression? Success comes after many failures, or in so many ways. Y'all know I'll be paraphrasing, but you don't finally strike gold the first day, the first try. You don't finally get the creation, the robot, the idea, the machine, all these things off the over and over and over again. Some of these people that had to just keep trying and trying and trying to get this thing right. But when they did, some people might think you're crazy. Some people might fall off and be like, you know what? It's a waste of time. Your oven don't work, whatever. You're crazy. This is the wrong recipe, blah, blah, blah. You keep at it. You keep going. Whew. Happy hump day. And until the next video, peace. Bye.